you very much to both of our witnesses here. I'm going to start here with Mr. Cooper. You've written extensively on fentanyl, and I appreciate what you've written. Can I ask, sir, what is the biggest hurdle to addressing what is appears to me as to be a fentanyl production crisis in Canada?
The biggest hurdle at this point, as I indicated, is a lack of cooperation between U.S. and Canadian law enforcement, and that stems from what has evolved over the past 10 years. As I said in my opening remarks, the Charter of Rights is a foundational, amazing piece and set of rules to protect honest, lawful, nonviolent Canadians. And we all appreciate that. But it has become, as I've said many times in my professional work, a shield for transnational organized crime consistent of the most dangerous threat networks in the world. That is precursor suppliers from China, Chinese threat networks laundering money at scale through Canadian banks and Canadian cities. And these are networks that are and typologies well explained by the U.S. Treasury. I say the U.S. Treasury has discovered some $300 billion in cartel fentanyl money laundering through these Chinese money laundering networks in the United States. I say these networks are disproportionately active in Canada.
Pardon. Oh, come on! Monsieur, sorry, Mr. Cooper, I just wanted to check. Ça va, Madame Bellefeuille? Okay, so interpretation has stopped, so we'll suspend for a few seconds just to make sure that it...
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him.
Mr. Cooper.
I'm sorry. I can perhaps I can zero in on my question a little bit more, Mr. Chair. Mr. Cooper, my impression is that the Americans have a great deal of intelligence when it comes to drug trafficking. Is our government acting when we receive that intelligence?
Thank you, member. That's the core of the problem. Our government and our police agencies have great will to tackle these transnational fentanyl and, by the way, methamphetamine, ecstasy, ketamine networks that are using Chinese precursors and producing predominantly in Western Canada in labs. The Americans have even greater intelligence, I believe, on the international networks supplying. But the holdup here and the challenge is that due to mainly, as I say, the Stinchcomb law, it necessitates that our Crown prosecutors disclose almost all of the investigation evidence when the RCMP or other agencies try to tackle one of these fentanyl network in labs. They will be asked to disclose particularly sensitive and potentially national security damaging secrets. And so that is a real bar between cooperation between, for one, Canadian-based intelligence and law enforcement. We know the evidence to intelligence disclosure challenges. They're very well heard in Parliament and other fora. And of course, it's even greater between our Five Eyes partners with intelligence and investigative leads sharing, or the RCMP sharing back to the Americans. And that has caused major problems, including in the Falkland so-called super lab case.
Thank you, sir. So I'm just looking at one of your documents here, February 8th, 2025, and you write extensively. I think you're one of the foremost experts on border security and international and foreign interference. And I'm just going to quote you here. Veteran law enforcement officials, both active and retired from the United States of Canada, have come forward with explosive allegations suggesting that Canada's federal government may have systematically obstructed investigations into the highest levels of Asian organized crime, end quote. Can you elaborate on that, please?
What?
Yes, that's reported with great gravity. The people that came forward were pointing specifically to cases such as Cameron Ortis, the former RCMP intelligence director, who was convicted for sharing Five Eyes international enforcement plans with the very networks that this hearing should be concerned of. This is Mr. Ortis allegedly or convicted for sharing plans with Sinaloa cartel connected, Hezbollah connected, Chinese money laundering connected threat networks in Vancouver in one case. In Toronto, Mr. Ortis allegedly reaching out to the highest levels of Iranian connected transnational money laundering, inclusive of Iranian Canadian currency traders in Canada, allegedly working with Pakistani threat networks. And so that is one case where the sources I talked to said they were afraid corruption had damaged, perhaps irreparably, our relations with America and others.
I see. Okay. I have about 45 seconds here. You talk about corruption. Is that corruption occurring on Canadian soil? And if so, where?
The corruption has occurred within the CBSA, according to sourcing. As I said, it has occurred on Canadian soil within the RCMP, where these threat networks we're talking about have, as Mr. Ortis said in court, exquisite visibility on RCMP investigation plans. I'll end by saying some sources were very distressed that our former Prime Minister was, as the Globe and Mail reported, stumbled into a surveillance operation that was targeting senior Chinese threat networks in British Columbia.
Thank you, Mr. Cooper.